afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast. Me, your host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off in the 2-1 vs 1 across in the north, it is Royalhants fighting here for King Country, the Commonwealth. Rolling out here with the Guards Armored Division in the south, it is Jove fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Taking on the role here of the 10th SS Panzerdivision Fronsberg with German Infantry versus Lend-Lease Assault. Special weapons and a Royal Artillery Regiment here for Royalhants, triple infantry for Royalhants, double Panzergrenadiers, 1 infantry for Jove, into a double Grenadier start versus double sections. And always remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like what I do, and of course press the bell button as well if you haven't already done that, so YouTube is more likely to tell you about my videos. But it's back to our regularly scheduled program. We got the 3rd section away there for Royalhants. More Grenadiers on the way for Jove and Germany, obviously. First Grenadier squad, they're setting out towards the west, so a bit more broader approach here from Jove, less focused, less concentrated. More focused in just grabbing territory against his opponent, rather than, holding it, because in a 1 vs 1 engagement Grenadiers for the section will usually win. You're usually relying on either having a sort of numerical superiority on MG42 to back you up. And currently the way Jove is playing, he's not going to get any of those. So he's obviously focusing on just grabbing territory and on a map like Crossroads, which is larger and has more points. That can certainly make a bunch of sense. 3rd section there for Royalhants, of course, is focusing hard on just securing the cemetery. You can see that Joe's looking to maybe disrupt here Royalhants a bit bold, to be honest, there. A bit aggressive, to be honest, versus the British. But again, if he can sort of catch his opponent off guard, I suppose, in the right way, it could prove, slightly workable here for Jove. There we go, slightly disrupting them, but at the same time, it's not going to stop the fuel point. But you can essentially force him to either fight a poor engagement here, or you're going to force him off the fuel point. And essentially, right now, he's forcing him to fight the poor engagement, of course. With the section now charting he added and the fuel point secured, the gambit has not, I would say, successfully paid off for Jove. In this case, he does retreat immediately. Actually, in this case, scoring 2 model kills in the sections without losing a single Grenadier. So, all in all, not terrible. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't great, but, it wasn't terrible either. 3.6. 3rd Grenadier squad there for Joe again, noting no MG42s at all. We got the Universicaire there for Royalhants and the British Army. The Universicaire was a multi-purpose vehicle within the British Army. Reconnaissance vehicle, infantry transport, tractor, weapons platform. It served a lot of usage within the British, well, the Commonwealth armies in general. Even the Soviets, which received a bunch of them from the British, also used them, well, I think they primarily used them for reconnaissance though, but they also used them quite a bit. Grenadiers pioneers moving out on the eastern side. We've got a section that's standing watch by the road. Got a section inside the house here. Joe's going to make another push for the cemetery, though of course it's going to be difficult there without sufficient force concentration with the Royalhants dug in. The sections are very difficult to deal with behind heavy cover. The Royalhants bring out a Vickers machine to help deal with Joe's forces. Jove has not brought anything else. Is he planning a sniper? Is he planning a fast tech? And there you go, fast tech for Jove and Germany. So that's just 3 Grenadiers versus triple section. The University will upgrade with the Vickers K. And of course we know there's a big heavy machine also on the way here for Royalhants. Of course, Jove doesn't know that. Still, that is kind of ambitious, but to an extent I can see the lot. Even sort of just rushed hitting for the fast, bigger stuff there versus Royalhants. He might have a shot here. I mean, currently, for example, 250 half-track would actually be very difficult for Royalhants to deal with. So trying to rush out, while again in some ways risky, does make a modicum of sense. But it is nonetheless risky, and to an extent it relies on Royalhants not pushing Jove too aggressively either. And Jove otherwise just trying to use his numbers in a manner that possibly covers up how few units he currently has. But there you go, take up down can go for the 250 half-take. Could also add Panzer Grenadiers in here versus Royalhants, and so that would not be bad. Baker's there right on the section, and there you go, Leichte Schützen Panzerwagen on the way for Jove and Deutschland. So using the point here, grabbing the point here, 250 half-take there, slowly inching towards the front line there for the fatherland. 250 half-takes were usually part of the a Panzer Division's reconnaissance battalion, which is a fun fact. The Panzer Grenadiers inside the Aufklärung were generally not actually meant to do the reconnaissance. They were meant to sort of support the armoured cars during the reconnaissance, and in most cases the armoured reconnaissance battalion or the infantry battalion, they would actually be used as infantry in a lot of cases. Basically just another armoured Panzer Grenadier unit, and they were usually sort of used like that in a lot of cases. So a little fun fact there. 250 half-take out, Panzer Grenadiers there as well for Joke. No, cancel it for a bank instead. Makes sense. Pioneers still likely with the flamethrowers going to be popped into that 251. Do you like to Schützen Panzerwagen? Vickers moving up there for Royalhants. Again, very sort of strategically bold strategy here by Jove. Again, not something you usually see, but again, that has its merits, that has its strength as well, at least in part because your opponent doesn't know what the devil you're doing, which makes it much harder for him to sort of like if he doesn't know what he's up to. And there you go. Panzer's now on the way. There's again prioritising in this case the bunker there. Charging in, and of course right now Royalhants is in a bit of a tight spot since he has no anti-tank weapons, no AEC, and he's no snares. He's in fact rushing out the sappers to in fact preclude that or sort of deal with that. And certainly is one of the British weaknesses in the night. That is why Joe went for it. He's just hit on it. It's kind of like why Soviets like to go for scout cars versus the Oberkommando West, because in the early game the Oberkommando West suffers from the same issue. They do not have access to snares, meaning a light vehicle like this is really dangerous. Note dug in here, Universal Chaos can actually lose out to the 250 half-tech for that. Got the cuff on there, so with the one swift bold maneuver, Jove has actually managed to turn the game around there on its head. Nice play there, fixing up the half-tech while he can. Troops lining up for assault, we got bolted section up there as well. Quickly popping back into the half-tech, being surrounded slowly, but even then it's going to be a bit of a tricky push there for Royalhants, but still Joe mentioned about troops support, and there you go. Backing off in this case, but nonetheless the damage has been done. Royalhants has been slightly thrown off, and he's certainly taking damage. 250 half-tech slowly approaching Medicine's one section being ripped apart by furious German firepower as Royalhants advances the line to secure the cutoff point, and, well, theoretically we're open to the fuel point, except that one's been grabbed by Joe as well. So the 250 half-tech again essentially served numerous purposes. A, it was just a really great offensive tool, but it also acted as bait, as a distraction. So not only again was he hitting vital points, throwing back Royalhants, was also just basically focusing his entire attention on it, like Joe, with his otherwise meager forces, to grab everything else he wanted. So really just great double purpose there from the 250 half-track. Following up with the Panzer Grenadiers, and of course in a pinch he can equip those with Panzer Strikes when it comes down to it. Though whether he commits to that of course is another matter entirely, but it is an opportunity that's open here for Jove versus Royalhants, and of course let's see how Royalhants respond to this, because I mean Jove's strategy is definitely I think throwing them off there a bit out of the loop. And he's sort of trying to reorganize. Oh, he counters the Panzer Grenadier squad just as he gets access to the Stormtroopers, and instead calls them in, immediately equipping them with the MP40s. Not a bad pick either. In particular, Stormtroopers with MP40s and the 250 half-tech can really do some heavy damage to the infantry. Note here he's mining up. He's obviously worried about another 250 half-tech there, sort of rushing his forces down, and he might even be a bit worried about them doing it with a Stormtrooper squad inside, which again really can do some serious damage to British infantry. But in this case though, note the way Joe is slowly using up, advancing on the machine gun through the cover. There you go, catching as it moves. Sneaky play there. His tactical advance is almost ready as well. There you go. Force retreat, they're hitting the car point again there. Great play there by Joe, going straight here for the section by the eastern car point. And once more, the Royalhants finds the supply lines in disarray as the German army strikes where he's not ready, where he's not prepared. Sniper following up there. In this case, the smoke screen just to make it harder for Royalhants to target the Stormtroopers and more easily just allow them to grab the point as well. Thumbs up there to Joe. Because setting up there you go, he's just ambushing, so that's going to force Royalhants to move someone within line of sight there, in range specifically the Stormtroopers. And it's like, well, it can also of course send the Universal Chaos since the Stormtroopers lack any anti-vehicle unless they equip with a Panzer Strike, and Joe obviously hasn't done that. 250 half-track there, getting off a good anti-tank grenade on the 250 half-track. Sappers there routed, nonetheless, need to fix up the 250. And we got veteran squatters up here for Joe's Grenadiers, increasing their durability, their firepower, just overall value, really. Very solid upgrade, and that's what seems to be one that is slowly catching on here, as it has been highlighted more recently by high players, and at least in some tournaments as well. And there you go, second special of the 250 half-tech, 2 kills. And the Bears coming in again, and of course veterans 1 means Joe can now reinforce troops near the half-track, which is really handy. Upside here, we've got Grenadiers here, holding up the line. We've got sniping forwards there, sniping away at Joe's Panzer Grenadier. Going up the eastern side, trying to outmaneuver here, Joe. Good maneuver there. They might also just want to try and hit the fuel point there. Slowly approaching Veteran 2 at a very sluggish pace. Nothing further happening there for Royalhants base. Oh, Panzer is down. Of course, even the Pioneers down as well here. Joe might have pushed his luck a bit too far versus Royalhants, and Royalhants is delivering the punishment. And there you go, 250 half-track, once more wins the duel with the Universal Carrier. Rifle-nades off Joe's lines, and now starting to look a bit more tricky as Royalhants is punishing him hard. Joe might have overextended himself too much, and Royalhants sees an opportunity to deliver some swift kicks to the groin there against Joe. Do you believe we're getting some tech up? Yes, indeed. Joe's going to try and push his advantage in terms of overall map control for some faster armor versus Royalhants. Definitely a good decision then. He's trying to get for the white in the section. Maybe if pop tactical advantage could have done it, and in the end, 250 half-track goes down. It has served Germany well, and there you go. Now he pops tactical advantage. A bit late there. Missed opportunity, I think, again getting that wet section white, but still ends up doing some good damage there against Royalhants infantry, hurting them. Royalhants is certainly here, no slouch. He is no weak opponent, and he's definitely giving Jove a fight. We got 6 panel guns on the way there. It looks like he's not going to go for the AC, perhaps realising the time is already perhaps a bit past on that one, and he's more likely to just go straight for the company command post and hit back at Jove with tanks himself. So Paul McCall almost done, and Joe will be able to rush out an Osman. In fact, he might even be able to get out a Panzer IV shortly after the tech is done, and he's got the support up. Going to be reinforcing. What third squad they're being reinforced or upgraded as well to veteran squad, either one. Standing watch here with MP40s. Vickers coming in the centre. Universal Carrier being fixed up as well there for Royalhants. Sectioning up the eastern side. And Stormtroopers pushing eastwards there, probably set up an ambush to catch many troops that might try and threaten his resources. So Paul McCall, meanwhile, Joe commits to a large-scale infantry assault on the left flank, with Royalhants' left flank, on the other hand, being quite, well, non-existent. That's going to force him to divert forces elsewhere to counter this move by Jove. Also knowing the Stormtroopers actually laying down boob traps in eastern fuel point. Good work there. Bit of locability, but it can be quite useful for just making things more miserable for the opponent as they attack or harass you. Royalhants continue again taking up, but he's going to be behind Jove. He's got the spawn cop and he's rushing out a Panzer IV here for the glory of Deutschland. Grenadier squad there sniped by Royalhants' sniper there. And there goes Stormtroopers then getting the section. Oh, didn't pay attention. Still, he should be able to just get in a few kills there. And which might actually leave the section sufficiently weak to get wiped out by the booby trap with a bit of good luck here. No, he actually ends up winning the engagement because Stormtroopers are actually pretty formidable up close in versus sections. In fact, infantry sections tend to be kind of, I would say, weak against units with assault weapons. That is, high rate of fire weapons like MP40s and Sturmgewehr. There go booby trap off. Bit of damage, or quite a bit of damage in a single kill. Had the unit been slightly more weakened, there might have been, actual more casualties in a full wipe, but I imagine Joe's Panzer IV will remedy that. Stormtroopers there with 10 kills, close to X6 already. Nice to see someone use the Stormtroopers quite efficient. There go Pioneers to the rescue. Section retreats, very, very understandable. Royalhants holding up, and he's also rushed out a Valentine tank. I'm not entirely sure if this is a move of desperation and thinks it's a good idea. The problem is just, it's great if the opponent doesn't have tanks, but if the opponent does have tanks, the Valentine is usually less than impressive. That's the sort of situation he right is now. Plus, of course, with the Valentine now, he's basically sort of logistically put himself further behind to get out a medium tank that sort of more seriously threaten Joe's Panzer IV. So it's a bit of a gambit there. Possibly, again, it might have just been born out of a sense of desperation for Royalhants, but either way, I do not think the Valentine tank here will stop some move at the current stage. Therefore, Royalhants, if he wanted to go for it, he should have gone for it sooner than he actually did, and he could have gone for it sooner as well. In meanwhile, as the Panzer IV destroying away Royalhants' attention on the eastern flank, Joe commits to another infantry assault, this time much larger in scale, committing all of his infantry, including the Stormtroopers here, making a hard push into the cemetery once more. Royalhants has no eyes, except the very passive one from the points around there. And he's just committing into an assault on the right flank, which again, Joe's Panzer IV is holding up much more easily. Royalhants is in a bit of a tight spot. He's going to have to, I think, launch an immediate counterattack to reclaim the cemetery here from Jove. Otherwise, he risks falling further behind in Joan resources, and Jove just getting up on tanks, which is just going to further compound Royalhants' issues. Royalhants here, they're going for weapon rack. Oh, starting up behind the Universal Cannon. There you go. They're going to take it out with MP40s and gain victory in the process. Sniper there is also in the danger zone, but does successfully take. Oh, he got his attempt here. Mine goes off, but in the end, the Universal Carrier, well, there's now not quite Universal Carrier. Grabbing the point here, Panzer moving up for the center, got the 6-pounder gun there holding it up. So again, great disruptive play there by Jove. Also just great maneuvering there. Catching Royalhants of guard there as he just keeps playing to an extent, at least, along with Jove's tune here. Panzer IV, they're closing in a half health, which is less good. Gonna use him with the section moving up behind the flank there, like the grenades, weapons there, making it a bit harder here for him to do much. I'm guessing Royalhants might be planning some Bren guns or some Piety, and certainly both could be very useful versus Jove's forces. And we got a second Stormtrooper squad out here for Jove and Deutschland. More MP40s. Fix up the Panzer IV. Gonna use the fire from the Panzer IV. Panzer IV, but the Command Valentine Mark 11. Most Valentine tank fire at this stage of the war being used as artillery observation tanks. Also, fun fact, the Russians, or the Soviets, actually received a lot of Valentine tanks themselves, and apparently they were reasonably sort of happy about it. Fun little note there. Fun little note. Seizing back the western points here from Jove and the 10th SS Panzerdivision Frundsberg. Troops are healing and reinforcing. Nothing further going on there for Jove. Storms are advancing there, slowly, surely. Heading the western point. Royalhants is definitely feeling a bit passive. He's probably a bit worried about Jove's manoeuvres. He's bringing up another 6-pounder gun to further try and blunt any armoured assault there from Jove, which certainly makes a lot of sense. Going to do storms coming up here. Minor assault this time, but of course also mostly because he's tied down in the east now. Valentine tank to the rescue here for Royalhants' left flank with its 75mm gun. And the Vic is joining in. Jove meanwhile is committing to another Panther 4, and Royalhants just does not have the infrastructure and the logistics of his bullet to call in more tanks. So he's definitely going to be outmaneuvered here on that numbered, and he's going to be very much relying on those 2 6-pounder guns to sort of do the heavy lifting versus Jove's Panzerwaffe. Grabbing points here, grabbing points there. Very good for Jove and Deutschland. There's some watching there. Go unit. Valentine tank moving up against the Grenadiers. Panther 4 almost done. Panther 4 setting out. Might be planning to link up with the second Panther 4 and then sort of make for a large armoured thrust against Royalhants. That could be a bold strategy there. Could also be very effective. Got Stormtroopers hiding out here behind some barrels, ready to ambush any British men. Coming a bit too close, and there you go. Bren guns up, but in this case, kept by the Grenadiers from a good spot. And there you go, Grenadiers spot it. And he quickly falls back and realises he could take a lot of damage there at that range. Panther forming up the left flank. Second Panther 4 coming to the right flank. Probably going to go for that section. You're going to try and threaten Royalhants' base. And there you go. Royalhants at the 17-minute mark is finally getting the company command post up. Fuel-wise, he is slowly approaching, being able to call him the crumble, but he might have to bring up some other stuff as well. And there you go. Jove. Oh, looks like he's about to raid, but he isn't. So he's going to go for that Valentine tank. Panther 4 moving up the left flank. Pinman machine almost done. We got the section there with the Bren guns. Not looking too formidable versus the Panther 4, but the 6-pounder gun certainly makes it easier. And there you go. Infantry assault following up the wake of the Panther 4. Section there find the cover vanishing. Go right before they are alongside 2 members of the section. That's the anti-tank gun there. Tears through the Panther 4's armour. Meanwhile, second Panther 4's got to the flank, but there you go. This time the Royalhants was ready with another anti-tank gun covering the right flank of his forces. Very good there by Royalhants. Certainly catching on a bit here versus Jove and his tactics. Jove committing to more pioneers to assist with the repairs. That's a very good move as well. Sniper close being ramped up. Grenadiers advancing into the Valentine tank. Vickers closing up, but sadly wasn't able to stop the Grenadiers in time. Sniper charging forward to the 6-pounder gun, getting cleared hard to get by. Joe Stormtroopers halfway to Veteran 3 in the ace level section, joining in more of the fun here. Joe's in force, they're being bled up. Vickers cleared out by the Grenadiers for the Roughneck. Good work. Both of Joe's Panther 4's done a bit of a dire state, but even then the infantry assault might have kept Royalhants further on the defensive for now, getting more time just repairing it without much interference really from Royalhants, which would really be the biggest issue now for Joe. That would be if Royalhants made a good assault against Joe, but with this sort of raid here that Joe is coming into against Royalhants seems more likely, I imagine. At least that's what Joe's betting on to play defensively. And he's already proven himself to be a very defensive player, so I mean, anything that further encourages him to not exploit any potential weaknesses Joe might have left is pretty good. We got T4 on the way for Joe, just pushing ahead there, not bad. Not bad at all. Back in Royalhants' base, there's no sign of anything further happening there for the British Army. He needs that fuel point, and Royalhants, besides getting Bren guns, might actually want to consider some mines to make it a bit hard for Joe, just run and rush and harass and all that. More booby traps up for Joe and the German army, very good. Very good. The Germans were quite keen booby trappers. There's even books on it that I can't quite remember. I think there's one by Osprey though. But there's one I always remember. There's a particular booby trap that involved taking a mortar round and then basically stuffing under the floorboards of a house, and then sort of setting up so one steps on the specific floorboard, it sets the mortar bomb off inside the house, killing anyone inside the bloody room. Quite effectively. But that was also a case in Monte Cassino where the Germans booby-trapped a small painting and sort of lifted slightly askew, figuring that, you know, if the British walked up and, you know, corrected the painting as they would, it'd obviously get blown to bits. Anti-tank grenade and the Panther 4 damage engine make up. We got a fragmentation bombing run here, hitting at Royalhants' trench, and the snipers nearby is going to have to get away. Oh, got away, but the machine gun in the trench did not. Machine gun crew certainly now covering the interiors of the trench in a nice burgundy red. You got Grenadiers here, there's the foot section there, slowly being bled out. The anti-tank holding up here. Bickers following up to replace the one for Royalhants. We'll have to see what it goes next. Certainly no armour immediately. Might be he's planning a firefly here, there's all of Joe's panzers, not a bad idea. There's also a possibility that the Royalhants might be planning for a Churchill tank versus Jove, something that fight the Panther Force so it's more efficient that way, put pressure on the infantry. Grenadier Squad wiped out a man lost there for Jove and the German army, section their flanking the Grenadier Squad there. Stormtroopers just waiting for any British men to move in and get murdered. Back here for Jove, nothing further on. He's got the heavy Panther Squad buildable, but he has yet to really commence the act of building it. So Royalhants is holding on. He's certainly also got a tiny victory point lead here with Jove, but Jove certainly seems to lead in terms of armour, which is definitely an advantage that should not be taken lightly, and certainly the double anti-tank guns are probably like the one thing that's only ensuring that Royalhants is not currently, you know, tasting jackboot and motor oil. So there you go, Anvil tactics on the way there for a Royal Anvil specialisation for Royalhants, not Anvil tactics. Alright chaps, we take this anvil and we drop it on the Germans' head. Isn't that cartoons? Look, if it worked for the Roadrunner, it works for us. Section standing about there, Grenadiers moving up.
If they attack, the enemy will get it drubbing, thanks to our new anvil tactics.
So there you go, anvil's up for Royalhants, and soon be getting the Churchill tank and chucking that at Jove. We got Storms to the catch in the section there with a good tactical advance here, causing quite a bit of grief. They almost got Veteran 3 as well on the Stormtroopers. We got a Royal Artillery blasting Joe's positions, though where exactly they're being blasted is a bit hard to say here, but the 25-pounder guns will not stay silent. Oh, they're providing the house, figuring Joe might occupy and use it against him. Airburst shells are going off, house collapses as a 25-pounder shell crashes into it. Joe following up here with a Panther effort to try and counter Royalhants' anti-tank guns, certainly not a bad idea at all. Sniper close being killed again here by Joe's plucky Grenadiers, but Royalhants' determined infantry section repulses them. Closing in on that Churchill tank here to give Mr. Jove a harder time, but of course he could eventually just go for the Panther, he could just commit to a bunch of Stooks, and I'll give the Churchill tank a bit of a harder time, though of course the 2 6-pounder guns backing up the Churchill tank, it's going to be a bit tricky there for Jove just to easily deal with it. That's 2 6-pounder guns backing up the Churchill tank is a reasonably solid tactical formation in companies too. Panther up the right flank here, catching some of Royalhants' infantry in a bit of a prickly position and then blowing them apart from it. Oh dear, might be okay, he's not quite ignoring the Panther on the right flank, but it sort of seemed like for a brief while. Another 25-pounder artillery barrage here available for Royalhants to give Jove a hard time with. Bouncing up here to deal with the Grenadiers. He can soon go for the Churchill tank, another fabrication bombing gun, and again, once more, the trench is the victim. Oh dear, the anti-tank crew also gets caught in this time around. The crew slaughtered like the Vickers crew. Panther 4 then being slowly fixed up again. He's going to have to recruit that anti-tank gun, and there you go, Churchill tank on the way there for Royalhants. As his Valentine tank looks to seek vengeance for the men cleared out by the Luftwaffe, time and time again. Panther 4 now trying to take advantage of the confusion as he sort of attack from the right flank again, put pressure there on Royalhants. Panther barrage flying in the rocket as well there, howling away. Snub there, caught in it, running through it like a man possessed by, you know, something that actually wants to live. Section there also riding in the face of the Panther 4 as the other one attacks as well. He Churchill tank almost done there for Royalhants. Season centre victor point here with a bold Stormtrooper move by Jove. Back here, troops in reinforcing. Panther hanging back here for Jove and Germany. Churchill tank almost done.
causing trouble, trying to take one of our
Panther 4
points.
sounds like it was trying to destroy something there. What? I'm not entirely sure.
Tank and crew ready to go.
More Bling guns for all hands, and more importantly, the Churchill tank for all hands. So that's going to give Jove's Panther 4s a bit of a hard time, since basically all he has, and the Churchill tank is quite effective versus Panther 4s. He's going to require either Stuks or Panther, though. Fortunately for Jove, fuel-wise, he's pretty close, and manpower-wise, he's not far off either. So for now, it's going to come down to how well Royalhants can really put the pressure on Jove. The Churchill tank can really force back Jove. Can he do some serious damage? Panther on the left flank, give the Stormtrooper support there. Pioneers providing fire support there as well. Churchill taking advantage, Telemine spotted, and it's like going to be destroyed here by Royalhants, unless he forgets about it already. Doesn't look like it. There you go, Telemine destroyed. Joe's left flank there, slowly getting away here to Royalhants' armoured assault. But coordinate government to his first flank. There you go, to the fire in. The Stormtroopers being spotted here. Anti-tank and crew almost clear on there. Go dead. Sappers being torn apart, and there goes Stormtroopers shredding. Royalhants a section. Joe once more throwing himself to be a master of infantry maneuver here versus Royalhants, who just keeps getting undermined by Joe's Stormtroopers. The A squadron here sort of pushing forward here with tactical advance, almost getting Royalhants now. There go the Stormtrooper squad's going to move. They're going to try and finish off the sniper. Can they get it? No. They're halted just in time for Royalhants' desperate infantry section and Valentine tank. They almost got the Stormtrooper squad there. Panther on the way for Joe. Panther 4 going for the Churchill tank. It's trying to clear out here. Joe's Grenadiers with limited success. And there you go. Almost got the Stormtrooper squad here with the Valentine tank. Can he land the killing blow? Can he kill them? Can he take them out and seek vengeance? Churchill being rushed, and there you go, did get them, but the Panther 4 there blocks any further pursuit for Royalhants. He needs to be careful not to extend his Valentine tank. Panther halfway done there for Jove, and the 10th SS Panzerdivision Frundsberg committing its most elite armoured reserves, though technically they did not have them for some in Normandy. It was actually quite some time before they received their Panthers. Fun fact there, sandbags up at the centre victory point, 6-pounder gun being rolled back, close to victory field on the Valentine tank. Royalhants needs to pressure the field harder, and again he does seem to be slightly stuck in a defensive mindset versus, or two defensive mindset versus Jove. And again, Jove's like going to exploit that. And there we go. Pillmark machine away there for Jove's Panzerkampfwagen 5. Royalhants with another infantry section to make up for the ones they got cut down by the Germans very rudely. Roughnet landing a good hit there. Got the Churchill arriving. Threatening Jove's Grenadiers continue welfare and, you know, breathing. Panther 4 setting in here. Looks like Joe might be coming to big assault versus Royalhants. A Stormtrooper squad moving up as well. 14 kills. Section being bombarded here. Section moving east was there. Of course, they'd be mindful of boob traps and other explosive fun Jove might have laid down. And there you go, tactical advance there, nicely timed here, ripping the section several new superfluous breathing holes and other bodily function holes they might not actually need. It is opening up with 6 kills to them. Not really a lot because the British, that's still enough. And it is under fire from the Churchill tank. 3 kills still. They're slowly approaching message 1. 4 kills added. Sappers under fire. There you go. Panther is revealed now to Royalhants. What will he do with this information? And there you go. Panther 4 raiding Royalhants' base. I think he's trying to force Royalhants to, like, you know, commit to sort of a bad move here. It's just do a lot of damage. Got another 6-pounder gun out here for Royalhants to make up for the ones that got lost to the Germans. By, you know, being shot to bits. Almost got the bunker here by the eastern entrance. Good work there by Joe. Just looking to increase the pressure mentally in Royalhants. And again, just hope he just, you know, snaps under the pressure. Go down to the tank coming to assault. We got group shots in the centre victory point here by Jove's elite stormtroopers. Panther for number 2 almost done, and certainly indicates Joe he definitely wants this anti-tank guns to stay dead. Panther taking a few hit grenades being blasted by the Churchill tanks. Panther shoots, misses the Churchill tank. And there you go, Storms with all wiped out. A significant blow there to Jove and Deutschland. Valentine tank rolling ahead here. Sandbags brushed aside, and there go the 8 stormtroopers perished in service of Das Vaterland. Good kill there for Royalhants, but there is still the particular issue of Jove having 3 panzers, one of them a panther, and a bunch of panther. But Jove, though, is short in infantry, and that could possibly, if Royalhants plays his cards correctly, be a way to beat Jove, because if Jove has no infantry, I mean, you can't really do that much in the long run, particularly versus the anti-tank gun. So right now, it's probably Royalhants' best chance here of sort of scoring a win versus Jove if he plays his cards correctly. Valentine tank is warming the, or maneuvering here, the Panther Foremost guard. We got Blitzkrieg maneuver here. Missed there. Oh, he turns to the Panther instead. So maybe you want to prioritize that, finish off that Panther form, but there you go. Valentine tank got the Panther moving in here, punishing Royalhant folks, turning and not finishing off that Panther Force, going to try and get away here. Churchill tank burst the gun with this grenade off, almost taking out the entire unit. Panther Force goes down. Churchill tank with the damaged engine, easy prey, and there you go. Valentine tank exploded, Panther Force knocked down. No sufficient support for the Churchill tank. It's actually now overextended. Got section moving up, 6 panel guns nearby. They'll need to bring up both of them. Snipers deplete the section moving in. Panther fight unleashed here by Jove to further harass and just disrupt, maybe even isolate the Churchill tank here. Panther charging force looks like it's going to try and finish it off now. It's going to be risky them this one from the other side. There we go, re-hit on the Churchill tank. Anti-tank is repositioning again. But it might be too late. The Panther now quickly outmaneuvering things here. This half. Oh, grenade off on the Grenadiers. Almost wiping it out. Still on infantry here for Jove. Almost got the Churchill tank. If Royalhants again can somehow do this, he can win this match, because again, Jove's now most of his stuff in armor. There you go, Panther Panther's shot. Panther Force about to take out the Churchill tank. The main gun is out. He's got no other armor supported. He's not building it. Panther Force flanking up. Could see a Blitzkrieg maneuver to just slightly speed it up and try and further just outmaneuver the anti-tanks. There you go, the Churchill tank is down. And that Royalhants, while he still has plenty of infantry, is in a bit of a tight spot. Essentially, he now has no way to really just focus the anti-tank guns, or slow down tanks sufficient for his anti-tank guns to stop them properly. And he's about to lose anti-tank guns there entirely. We got another anti-tank on the way, but at this point, it's not really going to do much. And there you go, 6 panel gun crew number 2 dead. He's only got a balance tank now to try and stop Joe's Panthers, and this Panther 4, by the way, is very close to the ace level, which is only worse news for Royalhants and the British Army, as the Assault Guards Armour Division is very much mired down. And there you go, blitzing, and he's going to finish it, and there we go, Valentine tank down, and ace. Retreat there from Royalhants and the British Army, a victory for Jove and Deutschland. Some good handling there of infantry and armour, certainly some really good use of the storms there by Jove, certainly proved, I think, crucial at many times. Royalhants, I feel like, suffered from being too reactive, too defensive at times versus Jove, playing it too safe, which allowed Jove to further dictate and also just gain a significant resource advantage over Royalhants. And I feel like the Valentine tank was a wrong call there from Royalhants, preventing from going for proper tanks, and I think just further falling behind Jove here. So there you go, hope you enjoyed this match, hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell a family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Impel Links and cheers, thank you for watching, you're all a wonderful audience, hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.